on so everybody knows.
Yeah. Okay, it's 6:30. I'd like to welcome everybody. Please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America.
Okay, our first public hearing tonight is going to be. Oh, yeah. All right, let's do roll call. Councilman at Large Hockenberry. Present.
Here. Present.
Councilman Vicarello.
Present.
Councilman O'Connell.
Present.
Councilwoman Mann.
Present.
Councilwoman Fuller.
Present.
Councilman Rhodes.
Present.
Councilwoman Dennison.
Present.
Councilman Siegel.
Present.
And Mayor Sigley's.
And your council.
Okay. So, Corporation. Yep. Okay, our first local law tonight is number 1, which is going to be 2024 extended moratorium on cannabis. A motion to open the public.
Make a motion. Second.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, we're going to close. Make a motion to close.
This is local law 1.
So we're about to open up public hearing.
So.
Second.
Okay. Okay.
This is to extend the existing moratorium on the approval of smoke shops and cannabis shops and for the continued processing of applications within the city or the planning board, zoning board of appeals, or any other board. The current moratorium expires this Wednesday, January 10th. The purpose of tonight's public hearing is to consider extending that moratorium for an additional 6 months while the city council, common council, and the code committee work on revisions to the existing zoning code. So this would be time for anyone on the council to make comments and then take public comment from the council.
Anyone on the council wishing to comment on this?
Yeah, I'd like to. We received a letter about this from one of the applicants, and I think it's important that we extend it, because if we allow one individual to apply without being stopped by the moratorium, we're opening up an opportunity for many others to do the same thing. And I think that there's a reason for the moratorium. I think we need to stick to it.
Thank you, Mr. Siegel. Hearing anyone else? Anyone from the public wishing to speak?
Yes.
I think I'm the individual who wrote in the letter to There's a problem.
Your name, sir?
Vern Lazaroff, I'm an attorney. I represent the Greenport Smoke Shop, Inc.
Okay. For the record, Mr. Lazaroff, we have received your client's hardship application pursuant to Section 7 of the law. I'll be discussing that with the council and the executive to start with this evening.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Just a couple of comments that I didn't write in the letter and in the application. My client, Keel Haji, has never applied for anything that would contain THC. He simply wants to open up a tobacco store with some of the equipment that goes along with that. And he has no intention of selling anything that contains an intoxicant at all. But he's being trapped by this. He was ready to go back in July. They bought a building. He's responsible for $3,000 a month rent. And he is not going to open up a facility that's going to cause a lot of traffic or a lot of issues with people who are not sure whether or not they think this is a great idea to sell marijuana legally. He has some other ideas for his shop, but he simply started at the time that everybody else sort of jumped into this, but that wasn't his intention. He is going to sell CBD, but that does not contain THC. There's no intoxicant in CBD. That's the only license he applied for with the state. Never applied for a THC license. Growing it, selling it, or processing it in any way. So So I really would like you to take that into consideration, okay? He has invested his money, over $200,000, and his partners. They've got all the expenses involved in that, and they haven't been able to open up at all. They're at 180 Pike Street, and I don't think his store would create the kind of problem that you anticipate for some of the other stores, and why you're looking at the moratorium. I did file an application for a hardship exception for him, and that's why, because it has nothing to do with cannabis, okay? And so it's not as if he's gonna get special treatment if he is granted this hardship exemption. You know, a moratorium is reasonable and rational if it really does what it needs to do, and it stops some terrible harm happening to the public, and gives the lawmakers an opportunity to design a law that fits the needs. But there's really nothing to be protected here. It's simply a store that's going to sell tobacco products, knickknacks, souvenirs, all kinds of things, and hopefully you can make a successful business out of it. So please keep that in mind when you're reenacting this moratorium, which I'm sure you're going to do. But let's see if you can carve out an exception for this fellow. I think he deserves it.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak?
Hello, members of the council. I'm Janice Vicaretti. I am owner of the medicine shop in Port Jervis, or formerly Medicine Shop, now it's Port Jervis Pharmacy. I also have an application in for an adult cannabis store in the city limits. I would just like the council, I've spoken before, I would just like you to be aware that the state will start approving applications mid-January. So I know a lot of us that have our applications in, also paying rent, also, you know, investing a lot of money. We're kind of totally understand the moratorium. I understand why the moratorium. You guys want to get your local law in order. Totally justified. My question is, if we're saying we're putting another moratorium in place, is it for 6 months or is it up to 6 months? So if you guys kind of figure out what you want to do legally in 2 months, is then it lifted, or we're a solid 6?
I think
The law is in place, the moratorium would be
didn't,
rescinded.
yes,
What's that?
Up to 6
up to 6 months.
Okay, so it could be rescinded.
If the law is properly in place and adopted by the council, we would recommend to the council that the moratorium is no longer necessary and would be rescinded.
Right, which is reasonable.
Up to 6 months.
Yeah.
The answer to your question is yes. Up to
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Who did the motion?
All right. Public hearing number 2 for this evening is going to be local law number 3, which is the 2024 creation of Article 3, Chapter 430, which is the short-term rental. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hold on a second here.
Short-term rental's gonna be.
Did I just make a-
Yeah, this is,
Okay. My apologies, everyone. I had the wrong agenda. All right, local law number 2, 2024, which should be the real property exemptions for the volunteer firefighters, first responders. Can we have a motion to open?
I make a motion.
Second. Okay. So as everyone is aware that this is the 10% tax break that will go towards the volunteer fire or first responders, which also includes EMS. Any discussion? Any discussion from the public?
Mr. Mayor, the state law was recently amended to allow for this, the way the law is written. The exemption would be available to anyone who's had 2 consecutive years in service within the city, who's a primary resident. Their primary residence in the city would only apply to their primary residence, would not apply to any rental properties they own. department or the president of the ambulance company each year to qualify for the exemption. And it would be, the way the law is written, it would be 10% of the village tax exclusive, city tax, exclusive of any special assessments.
Any discussion?
And it would take effect in 2025, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It would need to be
Yeah, properly budgeted.
for the assessment roll.
Yeah. Any discussion? Anybody from the public? Motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Close the public hearing. It's continuation for public hearing local law number 3, which is 2024, Article 3, Chapter 430, which is the short-term rental law.
Yeah, on this one, Mr. Mayor, as we discussed, the public hearing should be continued because I've been in touch with the attorney for the city planning board. They're meeting on January 16th to review and make any comments and recommendations to the council and to the code committee. So we need to wait for that before we can proceed with a public hearing because there may be some changes to the law.
We'll just leave that up to that. Will it require a vote or? No, just
No,
carry it over till.
Just carry it over and
Okay.
probably at the next meeting we'll be able to set the public hearing, the continued date, assuming they're gonna meet on the 16th, probably take them a week or so to get us their comments. And then we can recommend to you and the council to set the next public hearing date.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to the mayor's appointments, I want to thank everybody first because we're trying to work through these local laws that have been passed over from 2023. So thank you for bearing with that there. All right, so I'm going to do this in two different ways for this. I'm going to do basically the council appointments, and then the following month, the following meeting, I'll do all the city boards actually, the recreation, tourism, so forth. So, Department of Public Works, chairman's going to be Michael Hockenberry. The 3 council members that will sit on it will be Councilman O'Connor, Councilwoman Fuller, Councilwoman Mann. For the Police Committee, chairman's going to be Jason Vicarello. The 3 council members will be Councilwoman Dennison, Councilwoman Mann, Councilwoman Fuller. Fire and Emergency Management, chairman will be Jeff Rhodes. Council members will be Councilman Siegel, Councilman Fuller, and Councilwoman Mann. For the Code Committee, chairman Jason Vicarello, Councilwoman Dennison, Councilman Siegel, Councilwoman Mann. For Finance, chairman will be Councilwoman Fuller. Council members will be Councilman at Large Hockenberry, Councilwoman Mann, and Councilman Rhodes. For our zoning board liaison will be Colin O'Connell. Our planning board liaison will be Colin O'Connell. Our IDA liaison will be Councilwoman Mann. CDA liaison will be Councilwoman Dennison, Councilman O'Connell, Councilman Rhodes. And Councilman Dennison will be the one to read the report off each month. For housing, Councilman Siegel. ADA, Councilman at Large Hockenberry. Recreation, Councilman O'Connell. Our senior advisor will be Councilman Siegel. And I'm making a motion that we reappoint our city corporation, Council Wolf Frank, for a term of 2 years. Do you have a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes, ma'am. Sam.
Could I have all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, just to amend that, because it's an attorney position, I recommend that, against my best interest, that the motion be amended to say that the appointment shall be at will, because you
Sure.
can get rid of the attorney.
And then my last, February 1st, 2024, the 2024 members of the Port Jervis Fire Department assigned to the fire police from Mahagama Cook and Ladder, Richard Finan, Jeffrey Lewis. From Never Sink Engine Company number 1, Matthew Moore, Adam Scopino, Frank Wurlitz. From Delaware Engine Company number 2, Kevin Bartha, Robert Paget Sr., Elizabeth Stein. From Howard Wheat Engine Company number 4, Randall Aber, Henry Dunn III, Daryl Pyatt, Mr. Stanley Siegel. Excelsior Engine Company number 5, Vincent Atkinson, Richard F. Drew, Frank Fuller Jr., William Warner. And from Tri-State Engine Company number 6, William Conklin Jr., Jeffrey Martin, Edward Pavlich Sr., Edward Pavlich Jr., and Richard Opel. Lastly, I'd like to motion to make those appointments for 2024.
So moved.
All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion carries. As everyone's aware, we have a vacant city court judge position. At this time, I'd like to appoint Kyle Van Horn to the position of city court judge. Can I get any motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
I have a second. Second, Murray Mann. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. And that is the appointments that I have for this point in time here. Okay. This time I'd like to take a vote to go into executive session. Public comment, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Our first time. All right. Yeah. Anybody wishing to speak in front of the council now? You have a 5-minute limit per person. You may do so. Seeing none, I'd like to take a vote to go into executive session.
For the purpose of
Contractual and personnel, I'd like to invite Corporation Counsel Will Frank and additionally Darla Shields, our Human Resource Management.
Make that a motion.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.